Ladies, gentlemen, folks in the diaspora, wherever you are, Chibububu is back with a special edition because if you don't know already, Zimbabwe has been put on the map in a different way than it usually was because one of the world's greatest streamers, I say greatest, we'll get into it, but one of the world's greatest streamers dropped into Zimbabwe about a week ago and caused some mayhem. So we're here to talk about it. We want to talk about Mr. iShow Speed and his trip to Africa, but particularly his stopover in Zimbabwe. So I have some great guests here. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Taff Hove. We got
yes, sir.
Yeah, there you go. You know our own. We call you our Disney prince. Did you know that, Taff?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah. He's famous, by the way.
If you go on IMDb and you type in Tafadzwa Hove, Disney pops right up. So you're a Disney prince.
He comes up.
And we also got
the rest of us who just got Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, and this guy got IMDb, and we're just like LinkedIn, be like, yeah, I'm professional, but Hove is Googleable.
You can Google him. You can't Google the man that was just speaking, the Mac, Mr. Nyashamak. Mr. Nyashamak, how's it going,
Yash? It's good. I think I dropped out for a little bit there.
No, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear. And then finally, from the land of the blue moon rising, we've got Tate. Welcome to the pod, Tate.
What up?
So yeah, we're gonna jump right in because we are all aged, is what I'll say. I think we feel our age a little bit when things like this happen. But I really want to hear from you guys. Speed is popular. He's a huge YouTuber. I'm not sure I actually know what he does. I've asked this question before, but I just want to hear what's your impression of a guy that did a 5.5-hour live stream in our own home country, especially in the city that we all grew up
in. I think there's definitely there was a lot that came out of it. A lot of Zimbabweanese, if I would say it. Like when you're at home and then your parents have guests, and special China comes out, that China that you can never touch,
Yeah. Yes.
all of a sudden, things that never used to happen are happening. Exactly. And you're like, what I mean? Infrastructure we've never seen before, I hadn't seen before. I'm like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing about these streamers that I think is just always super interesting to see is how they are. It's not like TV, right? So these guys literally can do whatever they want, which is what I think is interesting about it, is that it's unpredictable. Yeah. So I think that was interesting for me to just kind of see. Now I know why the kids love it so much.
Yeah. It's true. It's like I heard, we were talking when we're in a group chat all together. We speak about lots of other things. And we were chatting in there and people were like, yeah, he's streaming. And I was like, man, I don't care about this. And then I was drawn in, actually. I don't spend that much time on YouTube generally because, again, it's easy to get sucked in if you have interest. Like, there's great content. But I was drawn in and I was like, man, I'm seeing things about my country. Well, granted, I haven't lived in Zimbabwe permanently for quite a while, but I'm seeing things that I remember, and then I'm seeing things that I haven't heard anything about. So, Tate, as someone that's more day to day in Harare, what stood out to you?
I mean, I was just thinking about when you said you were drawn in. I don't think I watched a single minute of the live, but it was the other mediums of social media that were trending, right? So you had the little clips of stuff that was happening, or whatever was viral from his interactions with Simbos was very interesting. So just to see how he was moving about. So the debate before he came was who's gonna take him around, and obviously Zim people started being like, oh, this person can't speak in English, or he doesn't have a good accent, so he can't be paired up with his kids. So Because when
You call it reverse racism or something?
something was going on.
Because it's literally like sorry to butt in, but there were some peeps where apparently there were things who were like DJs. I think one of them is Yaya Good Vibes, and there's some who we call creators here who wanted to step up, and they were like, nah, "You won't understand you. You won't understand you," and it was. And this is stuff which is going on in the background, where it's like they're like, some dudes who like they're quote unquote superstars around here. But as soon as they were like trying to rock up to speed, do bodyguard, like, hey, dude, no, not true. You don't want to because you over here.
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, but I don't think they were wrong because they paired him up so that there's like a key person who takes him around, and in this case they chose Chief Ben, right? But you could see Chief Ben was struggling. Chief Ben, I bet you, if it was a Shona streamer and they were together, he'd be throwing a lot of jokes. He would be vibing, but because now your jokes need to be in English. And you need to rap to this guy and have energy in English. He was struggling. So the whole time, most of the time when the session started, he was just sitting there, just quiet, just like, combi vibes. And that's why people were so happy when Timu Speed or Johnny popped in, because the energy just shifted, and then he could keep up with Speed, and also he could sort of rap at the same level. But yeah, I mean, shout out to that whole thing. It was, I think the reason why it picked up a lot of interest, and I guess from my side, and I think for other people, sort of our age group and stuff, was just because he was in Zim. I think if he was doing in Turkey or wherever, I don't think a lot of people in Zim would have been interested. But I think he caught a lot of wind because he came to our home country.
Yeah. Taff, as someone
someone made it.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. I just want to say someone made an interesting observation about Zim and said, like entertainment-wise, we don't have any streamers. All the streams that happen, it's usually gossip or politics.
Exactly.
It's never, you know what, I'm just driving around, I'm just going to see this, I'm just going to see that. It's always like, yo, here's the latest thing, check out, not just someone who is just doing something. Like the world for streaming for, like you said, our age, we're not used to that. But my nephew, he was from Oz, but Hakaitan scans, why he came here and he had to chill with me for a little bit. So the whole time, all he does, like on DSTV, you got the apps, he's streaming on the family room TV. And I'm like, yo, you want to watch a movie or something? He's like, nah, I'm good with my streams. And that's it. He's just watching all these creators. He's the one who actually introduced me to iShow Speed. The guy's like 19 now. Yeah, he's 19. He was with us since he was 16, so 3 years. And in that time, he's just sitting there watching dudes doing stuff. And in Zim, unless people are doing skits, that's the thing the other person said. We only have skit artists. We don't have actual streamers here.
No.
Yeah, Taff, I want to bring you in as someone that works. You do entertainment and work in the entertainment industry as part of your life. How does live streaming? Let me ask you a 2-part question. How does live streaming strike you as content creation? And then on the second part, like Speed live streaming in Zimbabwe, what do you think that brings in for our culture and our country?
So live streaming for me, I'm just so jealous. Like I wish we had that growing up. If we could stream the nonsense we were up to, I'm telling you.
No, we'd be in trouble, bro.
Some FIFA sessions. All I could say is, those FIFA sessions.
Oh yeah, no FIFA
sessions. Right?
Yeah.
Simba Sabal's house. His dad walking in.
His dad walking in. Yeah. I remember this.
And chasing us out of the house. Are you telling me that wouldn't be a fire stream? Now tell me if we were streaming that is.
You know what? My favorite part of that moment was, Taff and I go back 25 almost 30 years basically. And we were playing video games at a dude's house, and we have one white guy with us, and the dude's dad shows up, and the dude's dad is hot. He's like, how there are like 9 kids in my house? So we send the white guy out because we're like, he's not gonna do anything to the white kid. The white kid's gonna be our protection. So we send Joe. Thanks, Joe. We send Joe out to be like the sacrificial lamb, while all the other black kids, like, we back up video games, we get in our cars, and we start rolling. But yes, back to that, Cash.
So you know what I mean? I feel like it's just such a creative way for people to express themselves that I really wish, especially like us, like kids who grew up in the perfect era, because we used to go out, right? We used to cycle, we used to do things, you know, we used to go be a digi by Avondale. I feel like we were actually the prime people for that, right? I don't know as much for this era where kids like to be at home as much, right? I wonder, because that's why I think iShow Speed is successful, right? Because he's doing stuff, right? He's out, he's on the streets, and yeah, I think it's really great. I do think that what Nyasha said is also a very big point, right? Because ultimately, look, I'm happy that iShow Speed came to Zim. Anything that makes Zim trend for the right reasons is a win, right? It's a win for all of us. But I would love to see a Zim streamer through that perspective, because, of course, these things, let's be honest, they're going to tilt towards what the global American sort of audience wants to see. And that's not necessarily the most authentic version of Zim, right? So I think it's great. I would just love to see Zim streamers, because I think we could do it. I definitely think we could do it. The one thing that I did see with iShow Speed Stream, I remember when I used to work with reality shows, this was one of the things that I saw was always a challenge, even in South Africa, right? Was you'd get these great celebrities, but you'd get a host who didn't have the sort of like, is the word gall, or the sort of like presence to be able to, right? And also put these people, you know what I mean, direct them and lead them, because a lot of these celebrities are like puppies, right? They've got all the energy and excitement. But even with iShow Speed, you could see as soon as Mudiwa was there, you could just see, okay, this is the guy who should have been with iShow, right? The whole entire time.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to ask questions. He's not afraid to banter, to go back and forth with him, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish we had more of that.
Yeah. What would you say? This is for anyone. What would you say about the knock on this type of streaming, that it doesn't require talent? Because I don't know that. I would say, I'm not going to say I don't know. I don't agree, because to hold someone's attention, to hold people's attention for that long. So how would you address kind of that that knock on people when they go, he's just putting his face on TV, he doesn't have talent, or on YouTube, he doesn't have talent?
I mean,
he's got
I think
like as you said, holding someone's attention for 5 hours, even an hour at that. Like you can't do that realistically. Everything is 30 minutes, or unless you sit down in a movie which you paid for. That's when when you've actively said, you know what, I am going to just go and watch Avatar 3 for the next 3.5 hours. Someone just doing that and having thousands of people. I was looking at the metrics. I think we did we hit 1 million streams at one point in time in Zim.
Yeah, I think the day was that afternoon. I think I posted that he was at like 1.7 million.
Yeah, imagine that 1.7 million people are on their devices, and even in Zim, where like we people on WhatsApp and not, but then they're like, you know what, I'm gonna see what this guy is up to. That is like if they are, and this is every person on this, like majority of people in this world have got devices. And why aren't we all pulling in 1.7 million streams? You need to have talent. It's just bare bones. And this isn't one of those shock where they're trying to do pranks or anything like that. He's just being him, doing him things. And he's pulling in 1.7 million people. That's talent, whether we like it or not. It maybe doesn't fit our traditional thought of what talent is, like your great Daniel Day-Lewis. Nah, just being able to hold people's attention and have people donate to you for 5 hours, that's talent.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, I mean, it's a credit to him. He makes it look so easy that you think it's not. You don't need talent,
Hmm.
but you definitely need an understanding of what you're doing to make it work. And I think he knows the audience he's playing to. So it definitely is not. It's not like it's not a walk in the park, and it's 1.7 million people who are not being forced, but are logging in of their own energy. So that means
Right.
something's happening here. Because there are plenty of people. People, if you go to live streams, and there are people streaming, and they probably got 5 or 10 or
Yeah.
20. So it's not that easy. But I think also to shout out to what Taf was saying, that I think some other lady or girl was saying that in Zim, the not an issue, but most of the we have content creators, but not necessarily influencers or streamers. Because when I say content creators, because most of the stuff you'll see on the like TikTok or IG it's people sort of doing skits. So we have a lot of skit content creators, and
Hmm.
that's what they mostly do. They don't do other things outside of that. We do have a small sect of creators that are into lifestyle stuff, but they're also not that good. But some of them are decent. So to go to the next level, which I think sort of the high level is to be able to stream, because streaming is like doing all these things. You could be going from one place to the next, but also keeping it interesting and keeping people engaged. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe Johnny can start. Can start off because he's already got that pool,
Right.
and then people can sort of join in from there. But yeah, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
You know what's super
Oh, one other
interesting?
thing about the impact of. Mhm.
Go ahead, Taf.
Oh no, I just want to throw in quickly.
No, go. Yeah,
So the Zim
yeah.
government recently announced this initiative this week that
Yeah,
they have 10 million
Hmm.
US that they wanna
That's what I was
contribute
gonna
towards
say.
content creation. A part of me was like, did they look, cause, and
the
because so
streams.
some of
Yeah,
these things in Zim, people need to actually see, because I can
Hmm.
imagine someone in a certain department was like, what's all the fuss around, why is
Hmm.
everyone
Hmm.
on the streets,
Yeah.
and here we go. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that's connected to Speed's visit. And
Yeah.
yeah, shout
yeah.
out.
So let me ask this question now.
I
You know,
think it's
let's
definitely connected.
yeah, go ahead, Nyasha. Yeah, I think it's connected for sure. I think they're
No,
seeing
no,
the
no. I was
impact
saying I think it's
of
definitely connected
yeah, yeah. You see the impact
because,
of
like, the
how many people are
Herald
watching
is
and all that
saying
stuff.
content creation. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. This is we're going back to Speed's stream. Um, what he showcased of the country? I know we didn't all watch all 5 hours, but we've seen clips here and
Yeah.
there, and people have talked about it. You know, it's been in the public consciousness for so long. What stood out of what he showcased about Zimbabwe to you, and what felt like it was authentically a Zimbabwean showcase of the things that he showed?
Like, people take this for granted, and only white people do say this, but um, Zimbabweans don't need to put on a show to be kind. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
Fair.
The
yeah.
one thing which every other tourist is like, yo, you know what? This place is so friendly. This place is so everyone is just like, and you've got people. This is what you got people who I can guarantee you, they were just looking at speed like, okay, what's the hubbub about? You know what? I'm gonna get into that. And
Yeah.
you don't have a situation like I don't think there's a neighborhood, literally any neighborhood, the most dangerous neighborhood that we have in Zim, any tourist can rock up in there. Obviously, there'll be maybe thieves and stuff like that, but there is a sense of safety in those neighborhoods. It's
Hmm.
desperation, actual desperation, which does some dumb stuff. But the overall kindness and the openness of Zimbabweans, and just, yo, okay, let's go with the flow. What's happening today? Oh, we got this guy, iShow Speed. We don't really stream, data is expensive, but you know what? We're going to show him a good time.
Hmm.
And it's not too far from us showing a good time, showing somebody, a stranger, a good time, and that's who we are.
Yeah.
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 Tate, you want to double down on that?
um, I think what Nyasha said is true in terms of like just general kindness from Zimbos. He didn't dive too much into cultural stuff apart from what they sort of took him to the Mbuyana monument. They took him to
Only streamers are allowed to go there.
exactly, and they took him to our amazing structure, the Probabilis.
Yeah.
and, and did
Well,
some
yes.
events there. But I think
Yeah.
it was just because just looking at, I've watched sort of snippets from his other visits, so other countries he's gone to, and definitely he might not say it, but I think he enjoyed Zim the most. But I
Yeah.
mean, mostly because of Johnny, and that's why Johnny was also in Ethiopia to save the scheme.
Yeah. These. Yeah.
But I think he enjoyed Zim. The vibes were good. The people, I think, enjoyed that. And I think also one thing he did say, which is probably towards the end of the stream, when he had the meat at Steak and the chicken at Queen of Hearts, I think he was like, the meat is so good. Why is it so good?
No, I think that's another thing which we take for granted. You, the
Yeah.
taste, you might come here just to meet. Like, unfortunately,
Yep.
right now, I am in the middle of cooking 2 steaks, which I
Yeah.
bought for like $8, and they are premium steaks. And the same steaks, I would literally buy them for $80 if I was where you at.
Yeah, for sure. I'm coming in for some
100.
meat very soon.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're welcome.
Go ahead, Hope.
Come through, my guy.
Zim meat is unrivaled.
Yeah.
The portions are smaller because it's real meat as well, but yeah, it's unrivaled in taste. That's such a good question you're asking, Tate, about what was the most Zim thing. Okay, so because I was in SA and Speed came here first, right? And he was here for 3 days. So you went to you did Joburg, Cape Town, and I don't know where else he went, right? I do think a lot of what Zim did, there had to be overlap, right? Because South Africa were like, we're going to do every single thing
right? Yeah.
possible that's possibly African, right? In their perspective. But I think what the Max said is actually quite true. There is something about, because in SA, right, there were all these influencers. A lot of them were great people, but because all of it was just them sardines in this sort of can situation, right? He never got to connect with them. And because they were all kind of, you could see it was scripted, where they were all told to go and ask things from Speed. And like one of my friends who's an influencer went there and he was just told, listen, you need to plug FIFA. So all you need to do is just go to Speed and say, do you want to play FIFA? And he did it on the stream. And Speed was like, all these girls in the club and you want to play FIFA? Right?
Yeah.
Right? But it was just about the same. And
We're nerds.
And now,
You're gonna learn today.
yeah, it's social media. And
Yeah.
that's the downside of streaming. If you share for 1 million people.
Right. Yeah. And everyone's got that clip ready to show you.
Right?
Yeah.
So none of these streamers translated like Temu Speed, like Widiwa, right? He was such a dope guy. And I think he really did such a good job for Zimbos, because we did come across as people who were cool, relatable. Like, he left a lasting impression. So for me, that was the best thing. That was the most Zim thing. Like, I looked at that and I was like,
I'm taking a wild guess, but I would suspect, given our economic situation, that Speed's team would have taken Timu Speed there, and he wasn't doing what White Speed is doing, where he's just following him around. But Timu Speed would have been taken simply because of that. Like, imagine when you meet a clone of yourself and you're like, damn, I need to take this guy with me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Also,
agree.
I saw the behind the scenes for Timo Speed or Johnny's content, and he was scheduled to just do like a little cameo situation, but then they realized, actually working out
Play. Yeah.
and then they just kept him along the whole stream.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
So that was interesting to see as well.
Yeah, going back to you saying that it goes back to that talent thing, capturing audiences. You also have to have a feel for
Yeah.
what's actually keeping eyeballs on that. So I know as Speed streams, he has chat going on his arm and he's looking at that stuff, but he's also analyzing and going, is this guy that's just come in, is he playing for my audience or is he actually detracting?
Mhm.
And I think he noticed, Team Speed. This is actually playing, and I'm going to keep him around. Again, I don't know I
Mhm.
don't have the run sheet for what his stream was supposed to entail, but I can imagine he probably had an easy out if it wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
He probably had
Yeah.
a we'll cut you out of this, and then he had a different like method to keep him going if it was playing, because I think they ended the stream together. And I think that just galvanized people and brought more people back in. But yeah, I think for me, again, Zimbabwean at heart, Zimbabwean born. I lament because I think I've now spent more time out of Zim than I spent growing up there. But I still feel Zimbabwean
Yep.
connected to all you guys,
Mhm.
and we're talking Zimbabwean things all the time. And I think the most Zimbabwean thing I saw was kind of what you guys talked about. It's like the Zimbabwe doesn't. They didn't need to know who that dude was. They didn't need to know who Speed was, but they knew enough to go, this is someone that needs to be shown what a good time in this country is and how kind the people of this country are and how vibrant we are, and we're going to do it. We're going to show you our vibrancy, how we love. Zimbabweans have been through the hardest time.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a couple other countries in the world that would claim it being harder. We're not competing, but knowing what I know about Zimbabweans, we've had the hardest time, and people can turn away from all that difficulty to showcase joy of just being Zimbabwean and just showcasing the things about our country that we love, which is the community aspect of it. Right, man, you can't get away from the community aspect. People want to be with people and they want to uplift people. So I think I
Yep.
saw that like coming through as Speed was traveling around the country. Yeah, and I would have loved for him to have stayed for longer. Harare is its own vibe, but
Yeah.
you hit Bulawayo, you hit Mutare, you're seeing a different aspect of what Zimbabwean
Yep.
hospitality looks like. And
Yeah.
I know he's got a limited amount of time. I think he's in Egypt today or tomorrow, so I
Yeah.
understand.
He's
He's
in
doing his
Egypt
thing.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in Egypt.
So let me ask this question. Now that we've talked about what showcased Zimbabwe the most, what do you think a low point for you was? Like, what was the thing that you saw that you're like, ah, man, why did I do that?
Take a pick.
I'm gonna go. Let me go first.
Okay.
let me go. I'm sure you've got lots of things. The thing that I loved the least was that soccer pitch.
Oh,
That
my
damn soccer pitch. Damn soccer pitch. Guys.
Oh,
was-
man.
Some of us are fighting allegations. We're trying to beat the allegations at our workplace. You don't know. You don't know the allegations we're trying to beat. I go into pitches all the time, and the people are like, "We've never heard of him. Let's just Google live in the meeting." So I'm always just,
Yeah.
but the thing is, because we know we've got proper pitches, we
Yeah.
really do have proper pitches, and
Mhm.
I think because we know how much Speed loves soccer, it was one of those things that was probably going to be one of the, like you're saying, Tate, right? In terms of his team looking at what's going to work for Speed and Speed knowing his audience. They love soccer, right?
Right.
So it was going to be like
Mhm.
one of the most probably reshareable moments in Zim, right? And now you're like, hey, what sort of impression, are we going to get? And also, I'd love to hear the decision, like why they chose that pitch, right? Because
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on the wall and be like, guys, who
Wow.
said, you know what would be the best idea?
Yeah. Does anyone have anything worse than that? Because that was the one I was going to go with. I know why you went first, because you wanted to have the first word on it. Because my disappointment was immeasurable when I saw that. I was like, "Come on, man!
Mhm.
We've got. You don't even need to go to you didn't need to go to St. John's College, is field, or like St. George's, but you could have gone to another place, another school, a primary school somewhere where they have grass, they have an actual field that's not completely destroyed, Like I know maybe the calculus was we got to do something on the way, but I'm like on the way. There's lots of things on the way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
That was
Yeah.
slightly politically inclined.
Yeah.
The reason why they did that, because, I mean, without saying a name, but someone is, I think, an MP for Mavuku.
Hmm.
So the idea was to take him to that area,
Yeah.
almost like the what's his name, when Floyd came and they tried to take to that area as well,
Yeah.
to be like, hey, yo, for the people. It's almost like they feel like they're doing it for the people, but it didn't really do, didn't do it didn't have the impact that we expected it to have. Um,
It did
but
numbers, just not the right numbers that we wanted. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Now they'll be like, so when I think of African soccer, it's dust and like no
Yeah.
nits. And, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think I think because it's a 5 hour stream, there's always going to be incidents.
Hmm.
The interesting thing that I noticed about Speed is if you look at his interactions with anyone who tries to be an influencer or who's trying to push their brand on his stream, he blocks them out. I don't know how exactly he's thinking this out, if it's intent. All the guys who have a certain following in that country, so even the guys who are creators and them, they try to like showcase their stuff. Oh, I'm the best designer. I'm the best DJ. They didn't get like more than 5 seconds.
Mm.
You would just
There was the
bounce.
one guy who's for me who was like a downside, who was like the child president. And he's like, what? The child president? What? The child president? What's that? And he was trying to explain, like, yo, you know how it is because of our system here, our politics, and be like, oh, I'm the president of the child parliament. Like,
Yeah.
dude, really? No. And because it lasted for so long, where I think he was just trying to get some airtime, and like Tate had said, they were like, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of wild, but yeah, it was a good 5 hours. It was a good 5 hours. So I'm gonna let you guys put on your creative hats right now, and this is
Yep.
how I want you to be creative. I want you to consider maybe being the guy that Speed's team contacted for their Zimbabwe live tour. But how would you? What would you have done? What would you have done any differently in those 5 hours? What spots would you have taken him to that showcase the country without it being a tourism video? Because I think it's easy to say, oh, take him to Victoria Falls. Everyone knows Victoria Falls. Like if people know, people know they want to come to Zim, they want to come see the animals that they assume roam around our streets, and they want to come to Victoria Falls. So let's just make you the tour guide. We'll start with you, Tate. You're the tour guide. Where you give me 3 places that you're taking Speed that you didn't get to see that would showcase Zimbabwe.
I think you definitely lean into a bit of the food because there's an element of our food that's different from any other place. So I mean, without because you don't want to take him to like a really like downtown area, but you find a place where you showcase the food. I think get him to meet up with some of the sports because he likes sports. Some people are saying like let him meet the rugby guys, for example, because the World Cup. So do a little challenge quickly and move him. 5 hours. If we're still working in 5 hours, it's tight. I think that's why he couldn't go to the other places. But he ended up just going to Vic Falls. I think I'll just take him around most of the places, do a bit of challenges. Even I didn't like the go-kart idea. I think the go-karts were pretty sad because it's coming from a place where they have go-karts. So what can we really say? But anyway, I would take the rugby guys. I'd have loved to, if you could do a quick dash, maybe without doing tourism, but like Great Zimbabwe is the best thing you can do. And then it's really tight, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't mind what they did with him. To be fair, apart from the go-karts and the soccer and the bundus, I think they did with the 5 hours that they had. They did show him good energy. So
yeah, Yeah,
I
I
just
love the pulling the truck with the strongest woman in the world thing and
yeah.
things like that. You're like, oh
Yeah, that
yeah,
was good.
yeah. It's like, oh, that's dope. Like, who's gonna get to do that? What about you, Nyasha? What other things would you might have you sprinkled in?
Now, in general, I thought the problem with them, with all of the places, is that we don't, we the places are so far apart
Yeah.
where you can have a good time. Harare has got its own vibe. You mentioned it before that if you had gone to Blawa, or like sometimes when I'm in Chibutu, like recently I went to a wedding in Binga, and maybe just to have like a if you had gone to like a traditional ceremony, whether it's
Hmm.
maroro or a wedding of some sort or something like that, where people are just where family gather and people are just
Uh-huh.
having a good time, even a funeral.
Yeah.
One of those where we always just meet as family and people. I think that's one of the other things which I would have showcased for him because, yeah, apart from our scenery, our personalities are the biggest asset which we have in the
Yeah.
country.
Agreed. Agreed. What about you, Taff? Any things that stood out as you were watching or have been thinking about over the last week or so?
Yeah, I mean, overall it was good. If I could add a couple of things, I would have. What I really wish they would have done here in essays, I would have maybe because I owned a combi, I would have told Speed to be a windy for 30 minutes. I think that would have been
Ah,
like such a
yeah.
Hey,
great way to
yeah.
experience Zim. You're
Yeah.
collecting cash, you're dropping off cash, you're meeting people from different parts of Zim,
Hmm.
and you can obviously stage it.
Yeah,
Definitely you stage it. So
Yeah.
you pick up the right sort of
yeah.
people. And then I would
Hmm.
have probably tried when I think about Zim, I I would have liked for him to learn some more Shona for sure.
Hmm.
And also, thirdly, I'm a bit biased, but I think one of the things about Zim is our education system, right? We know
Yeah.
we're the most literate cats in there. I don't know how, but I'm sure there could have been a way to kind of touch on it because if I was trying to make this, let's make Zimbabwe look great, I would definitely
Hmm.
lean into that. And then maybe something that kind of gives you a scope of the dynamism in Harare. Because Harare, for me, what I love about Harare is because it's so small, you get everything from the brook to Mbare,
Right.
right?
Right.
I wonder if there's a way to kind of give him that sort of experience in a combi, where you're
Hmm.
going from the brook, because the brook feels like a world of its own.
Right.
Mbare obviously has got its own vibes. So
Yeah.
that's possibly what I would have done.
Yeah, I agree. I think my one
Yeah.
thing that I thought of, you kind of spoke to this, Tate, about like the rugby. Because we know Speed he loves soccer. He loves the idea of sport. I mean, in Botswana, he raced Letsile Tebogo,
Yeah.
because he wanted to showcase
Mhm.
how fast he was. Um, I would have loved to have put a spin on that and like maybe had him do like like a rugby drill with one of the Zimbabwean guys going to the World Cup, or
That would be
like even
fire.
cricket. Yeah, or even cricket,
Yeah.
like face
Mhm.
2 or 3 balls
Yeah.
from like Blessing Muzaraba and you see how fast that actually is. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
see speed
Mhm.
from a different angle. And then it's showcasing like we love sports in Zimbabwe. We love soccer. We're not as good at it. We're better at rugby. And we're better at rugby and cricket. That's just how it is. We actually go to those World Cups, So like to be able to like showcase that and just go, okay, can you with your speed talent, can you figure out how to hold a cricket bat and hit a cricket ball, or can you figure out how to not get tackled by this rugby player or get by him? I think that would have been a fun thing for us to see him do.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, nice.
For sure.
Me
That
Yeah,
would
too.
have been a
that's
vibe.
yeah, that's the best
That would have
idea.
been a
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah, that would have been a vibe.
But yeah,
So, can I ask you a question on the tail end of that, right? So,
yeah.
I watched the Egypt stream, and what Egypt did
Hmm.
is they just were like, look, go to the pyramids,
Hmm.
ride
Reflex.
camels. It's like, we are going to tell you about the history of Egypt, right? So, obviously, it's not my cup of tea, right? But I can see
Hmm.
the thinking behind it is like, I can imagine in Egypt, they're like, look, we're not trying to create a vibe. We just want people to visit Egypt. And
Yeah.
I found myself saying, damn, I want to go see the pyramids.
Hmm.
Out of all the places I've seen Speed go to, like I love the vibe in Ethiopia, but if I had to go visit a place, I would as a tourist. I'm leaning towards Egypt, right?
Hmm.
Because of how they showcased it. I'm not too sure. I don't think it's the most interesting stream he did,
Yeah.
But I do wonder, where do you play it, right? Do you play it from the perspective of we're trying to create tourism because that's going to boost the economy more and it's going to bring people in? Or are you going to play it more from the aspect of we're just trying to create a vibe so that when people watch this, they're just going to have a different sort of perspective on Zim people?
Yeah. I'll answer by saying this. I think.
But Tate mentioned it.
Yeah, go ahead, Nyasha. I'll talk after you.
No, I was not saying Tate mentioned about Great Zimbabwe, where they're like, that's a shoe-in, because it's one of those things which doesn't get, so hyped up. But dudes built a city with no cement, and that's just amazing. And it's still there. This have been around, and we could easily have shown that. But again, it's the space. Like we just can't get it. You just can't get onto a flight to go to Mashingo, which is 3 hours away. So, or maybe the combi idea, which Taff did.
Would have been great. Yeah, here's what I think, Taff. I think it's about the consciousness. So I think living in the States, I can take Egypt to people and people automatically go, oh, pyramids, oh, old civilization, oh, I know what this place is. So I think Egypt is playing into, they're in people's consciousnesses already of like, we know what that country is, we know what that country's about, we know the pharaohs, we know the hieroglyphics. Whereas when I say Zimbabwe, people are like, where is that again? Where do I find that on the map? Yeah. So I think Egypt was going, you know what? Even if I don't say my country, like Egypt, for real, even if you don't say the country and you put a picture of the pyramids, 90% of people are going to be like, oh, I know exactly where that is. I know exactly where that is. I'm going to go to it. Even when I pull up a picture of Victoria Falls, people are like, oh, Niagara? And I'm like, no, bro, come on, man. Or they tell me some falls in like South America or things like that. So we have to work really hard as a country to be in people's consciousness of like, we are a country. So I think showcasing our vibes was the way to do it, because it was effusing joy. Like there's joy, there's happiness here. And then people are like, what's Zimbabwe about? Then you can go, you can do all these stuff, all these things. And also Zimbabwe has one of the greatest wonders in the world in Victoria Falls. Or you go to Great Zimbabwe and see this city that was built without cement hundreds of years ago. So yeah, I think that's how I would answer that. Is I think the Egyptian people are going, we can show you all the vibes of our country, but what's going to draw you in is the ancient history of who Egypt is as a civilization. And that's what you want to come see.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, but yeah, gentlemen, this has been a fascinating discussion. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I thank iShow Speed for coming to Zimbabwe and putting us on the map, and not just Zimbabwe, honestly, like making Africa look like a place that people want to visit, whether it's Zimbabwe, whether it's South Africa, whether it's Eswatini. 100%. Like he put Africa on the map proverbially, and showed he can do what he does in the States, in Africa, and you can come and you can have a vibe, and it's a place that you can come visit. So I'm very much appreciative of that. But yeah,
he redeemed us from Tiffany Haddish.
And also from Drewski. And from Drewski.
Oh yeah, Drewski, Pastor Drewski.
One step forward, we are the money laundering.
No, like that.
Oh man, that's so wild.
I think that the funny thing is, when you're talking about tourism, sorry to go off on a tangent, there's a lot of like older people, like middle-aged people, who come to Zim once they're settled. Whereas the European crowd, you've got backpackers, young people who are like Speed, who can come in and do that. Although there are a few backpackers here and there, but these younger people, if I tell you, in some tourist towns, the European guys were literally here in Zim, who go to Mutare, go to Mozambique for a week so that they can renew their 90-day visa. That stuff is happening, but it's all happening under wraps. I've seen guys literally get deported in Vic Falls because they've been around for too long and they're being looked for by immigration. And it was mind blowing. Like, you mean Mr. Smith has overstayed his visa and he's getting deported?
Yep. Yep.
And there's so much, like we as Harare guys, we tend to just coalesce around Harare, but there's so much to do on the outskirts. Like, you just discover how much more there is to this country besides. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're just painted with this political brush, whatnot, and so forth. But at our very, very core, we're just people who want something to eat at the end of the day and to have a good time. And we don't get into each other's spaces or anything
Yeah.
like that. We don't want much from you. We just want to have a good time, be a vibe. And that's, I think, is where we're talking about vibe versus tourism. I'm sure Zim was the best vibe, just
Yeah.
Uj, without the government getting involved, just people having a good time, and without as
Yeah.
much an organized entertainment industry as South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Well,
100%.
100%. We'll end on that note. But for you listeners, thanks for listening in. If you've never been to Zimbabwe, I can't recommend it enough. Visit Zimbabwe. There's so much to
Come
see,
through.
so much to do, so many people that will love you. It's a safe,
Yeah.
inviting place, and
Let me tell you how safe it is, dude. I was at the airport and there was this Chinese guy who was counting $100 bills out in the open. And I was like, where else do you do that? Like, literally, I think he counted like serious, like
yeah,
$5,000. I should go, just walking, and I'm like, my
yeah,
guy. I'm
my
getting close,
guy.
like, but like, this is someone who has come to a country and he's with his people and he's feeling free enough to be counting bills. Obviously, we've got snatchers, but then they literally hit you. And so it's not with us, but that's how safe we are. When something
Yeah,
horrible happens, it's literally stop the press. Someone's been
hmm
killed.
yeah, 100%. All right, gentlemen, thank you for your time, your conversation. Hopefully, we'll be back again
Mhm.
together soon because it's been a long
Uh-huh.
time since we've had conversations. But to the listeners out there, thanks for listening. And this was Chibibubu Special Edition. We out.